And confirming to NBC it's cutting ties with its NFL commentator Shannon Sharpe. The move coming after Sharpe, of course, the Hall of Fame tight end, settled a lawsuit accusing him of sexual assault and battery.
The shocking announcement of Shannon Sharpe's firing from ESPN in 2025 sent shockwaves through both fans and sports media circles. It wasn't simply the conclusion of his celebrated run as a high-profile analyst. It symbolized the close of a defining era in sports broadcasting. Sharpe, widely recognized for his commanding presence and outspoken commentary on both athletics and cultural issues, suddenly faced a dramatic career setback when legal troubles emerged. Allegations quickly gained traction.
Shannon Sharpe has to downgrade again, okay? So after losing his potential $100 million podcast deal over a 19-year-old white woman that came out to sue him alleging that he took her without her permission, and she could not fight back. She said it was not BDSM. I told him he was supposed to wear a condom. He did not do it.
And in an industry where public perception holds enormous weight, his abrupt exit felt almost unavoidable. Media outlets scrambled to uncover every detail of the developing lawsuit, shifting the narrative from mere legal concerns to a full examination of his character and legacy. Questions swirled. How could he rebuild? And could his personal brand survive the damage? As the controversy began to simmer, comedian Katt Williams, famed for his unfiltered delivery and fearless approach, threw himself into the discussion, sparking a wave of intensified drama and escalating the situation into an even more explosive public spectacle. Katt Williams, well known for his razor-sharp critiques of the entertainment world, seized the moment to speak his mind. As Shannon Sharpe's career veered off course, Williams offered no restraint in his remarks.
I'm calling out Tyler Perry Studios. I'm calling out Mark Swinton. I'm calling out Jeannie Harrison. I'm calling out Michael Robbins. I'm calling out Tyler.
He had previously appeared as a guest on Sharpe's popular podcast, Club Shay Shay, just months before the scandal broke. What was once seen as a spirited but respectful exchange between two outspoken personalities now seemed to carry an air of foreshadowing. When Sharpe's legal troubles became public, Williams quickly revisited that earlier conversation, bluntly stating that Sharpe's downfall was inevitable. For Williams, the story extended far beyond the headlines of a job loss. It became a commentary on the fragility of fame, the unique vulnerability of high-profile figures, and the underlying hypocrisy that can exist beneath carefully maintained public images. He framed the moment as both a cautionary tale and an indictment of an industry that thrives on building and dismantling its stars. For longtime followers of both men's careers, this was far from a routine celebrity spat. It was a direct clash between two very different worlds. On one side stood Katt Williams, the comedian renowned for his fearless honesty and complete disregard for the polished norms of mainstream entertainment. On the other was Shannon Sharpe, the former NFL star turned high-profile media personality, whose charisma and sharp commentary had made him a cornerstone in sports broadcasting. Yet, this confrontation carried stakes far beyond personal opinions or on-air banter.
I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
Come on, Cat.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends. And that's the truth of the matter. So I stayed away from that.
You see Jonathan Majors, what he went through, Marvel dropped him as soon as the conviction came out. And you were telling the
Hey, you saw that black woman come get his charge cut in half? Thank you, Megan Good. God bless you, coming to save that slave. If he'd had to be there by himself, he was getting all four. Guilty, 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 guilty. She came in there, was just so beautiful, they had to knock half of it off. Bless his heart.
Katt Williams wasn't simply addressing Sharpe's sudden job loss. He was challenging the very pillars of Sharpe's public persona, questioning the authenticity behind the charm, and hinting that the carefully cultivated image might have been built on a fragile foundation all along. This wasn't just entertainment. It was an open examination of credibility, integrity, and the price of fame when perception starts to unravel. When Sharpe's exit from ESPN was first announced, it was presented as an unfortunate consequence of an ongoing legal dispute. Central to this was a sexual assault lawsuit filed against him, a claim Sharpe firmly denied. While he publicly rejected any wrongdoing, the professional impact was immediate and severe. Some media outlets directly linked his firing to the allegations, framing it as a decisive move by the network to distance itself from controversy.
He called black women gold diggers. He told his own children, that he should be the last option that they are able to call whenever they need help. He didn't even want to pay for his own, I believe it was his daughter's wedding. He was a willing participant. He was a willing participant in every single thing that he did, and I don't feel sorry for him. The universe sent him signs. Katt Williams tried to warn him. He said it takes 2 weekends. Monique tried to warn him that him now, at the age of 57, and now he has lost his entire football career, basically because him and that girl had to settle for $23 million. His whole football career, he only made 22. So she got his entire Hall of Fame football career within, plus $1 million, within just a few short months.
Sharpe's response blended defiance with his trademark humor, brushing off the situation by quipping about light pockets and insisting he had weathered storms before. Yet, beneath the confident delivery, the industry's whispers grew louder. No punchline or charismatic retort could erase the lingering doubts or the perception that his career had taken a critical hit. This marked a turning point, not only in public perception, but also in the way Sharpe's once unshakable media presence was viewed behind closed doors. As speculation about Sharpe's situation intensified, Katt Williams seized the moment to offer his perspective. Known for his unfiltered takes, Williams addressed the topic during a recent podcast appearance with an almost casual delivery. "Shannon's situation," he remarked, "isn't surprising to me. It's all part of the game. You get too comfortable in the spotlight, and the industry doesn't forgive." For Williams, Sharpe's downfall wasn't an isolated incident. It was the inevitable result of a system that thrives on building up public figures only to discard them when convenient.
Just saying, it's a crazy time. You can't afford not to like black people. You don't like black people enough, you could become one yourself. I'm not the only black man with a bunch of mug shots.
He referenced what he called the plantation mentality of the entertainment world, where some individuals are shielded while others are treated as expendable. Williams emphasized that relying too heavily on a single network or platform leaves one vulnerable, using Sharpe's case as a cautionary tale. In his view, the former sports analyst had been propped up by a polished public image, and once that image cracked, the industry wasted no time in letting him fall. The timing of Katt Williams' remarks was far from accidental. As Sharpe's legal troubles made headlines, Williams was actively promoting his latest stand-up special, ensuring his voice would cut through the growing media chatter. Known for turning controversy into commentary, Williams used the moment to highlight long-standing issues within Hollywood and the broader entertainment industry. What caught many off guard wasn't simply that Sharpe became a subject of his critique, it was the precision in how Williams framed it. His comments went beyond the surface-level details of the lawsuit and avoided direct personal attacks. Instead, he zeroed in on the systemic realities of fame, pointing out how quickly the same industry that celebrates its stars can abandon them at the first sign of trouble. To Williams, Sharpe's predicament wasn't an isolated scandal, but another example of how public figures can be built up, commodified, and discarded by a system that values image over humanity. Many took to social media to voice their opinions, with some praising Katt Williams for delivering a hard truth, and others criticizing him for speaking on Sharpe's situation while it was still unfolding.
My family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys.
While some interpreted the remarks as a cheap shot, others recognized them as a broader warning about the entertainment industry's unforgiving nature. Williams' stance was rooted in his long-held philosophy: fame is fleeting, and the institutions that promote you will not hesitate to replace you. He had experienced this himself and had witnessed countless others rise and fall under the same conditions. In his view, the focus should be on understanding the system rather than blaming individuals. Sharpe's story in this context was not an isolated downfall, but a textbook example of how quickly a celebrated figure can become a cautionary tale in a business that values profit and image over loyalty or longevity. As Katt continued to address Sharpe's situation in interviews and public appearances, the conversation surrounding the former sports analyst intensified. Sharpe, once celebrated for his transparency and willingness to engage in open discussion, was now facing a wave of skepticism. His public responses carried the same trademark confidence, yet the weight of Katt's remarks lingered in the air. The commentary had not only drawn attention to the allegations, but had also sparked a larger conversation about authenticity in media personalities. Soon, other entertainers, cultural critics, and online voices began echoing similar questions about Sharpe's consistency between his public image and his private conduct. This shift in perception placed Sharpe in a difficult position, balancing the urge to defend his legacy with the need to navigate an increasingly skeptical audience. Whether he could maintain the persona of the unflappable commentator, or if the controversy would permanently shadow his career, became a central question in the unfolding narrative. But Katt's remarks went beyond surface-level criticism. They cut into the core of how the entertainment industry operates. His words highlighted the long-standing pattern of elevating public figures to extraordinary heights only to cast them aside the moment their value to the system wanes. This wasn't a new stance for Katt. It was a theme woven throughout his career. From his highly publicized disputes with other entertainers to his outspoken critiques of Hollywood's treatment of black talent, he had consistently called out the cycle of exploitation. In his view, Shannon Sharpe was simply the latest example of a high-profile figure caught in that cycle, someone who had been celebrated, monetized, and ultimately left exposed once the momentum faded. For those watching, Katt's take was both a cautionary tale and a sharp reminder of fame's fragile nature. The same media machine that helped build Sharpe's brand was now amplifying his downfall, turning a once untouchable figure into the latest headline in an all-too-familiar story. In the weeks leading up to the final wave of public reaction, the tension between Katt Williams' commentary and Shannon Sharpe's attempts at damage control reached a peak. While Sharpe continued to maintain his innocence and stressed that his firing from ESPN was a product of circumstances beyond his control, Katt doubled down on his narrative. He used multiple interviews, late-night appearances, and social media clips to draw a bigger picture, one where Sharpe's situation was just a single thread in a much larger tapestry of how the entertainment and sports industries chew up talent and spit it out. Katt's approach wasn't purely comedic, it was strategic. He blended humor with biting truths, ensuring his perspective was heard across all platforms. This prolonged media attention forced Sharpe's allies and critics alike to weigh in. Some argued that Katt was being unnecessarily cruel, pointing out that Sharpe's legal troubles had yet to be resolved and that piling on only fed public sensationalism. Others, however, agreed with Katt's core point. No matter how famous, respected, or seemingly untouchable you are, the industry doesn't hesitate to move on the moment you're seen as a liability. Sharpe's case became an example discussed in podcasts, sports shows, and online forums, people dissecting whether his downfall was due to personal missteps, bad luck, or simply being caught in an industry with no safety net. Adding to the intrigue, old clips of Sharpe from Club Shay Shay began resurfacing online. Moments where he spoke candidly about loyalty, resilience, and the importance of protecting one's brand. In light of his firing, those moments took on a different tone. For some, they were ironic reminders that even the most confident public figures can be blindsided by scandal. For others, they were a testament to the very point Katt had been making, that fame is fragile, and no one is ever truly in control of the narrative once controversy strikes. By the time this chapter of the story reached its height, Sharpe was in the difficult position of having to fight a two-front battle, defending himself legally while also trying to maintain his relevance in a fast-moving media environment. Meanwhile, Katt had cemented himself yet again as the voice willing to say the uncomfortable truths others avoided. It was no longer just about one man's job loss. It had become a broader conversation about how the public consumes controversy and the fleeting nature of trust in the court of public opinion. As the dust settled, the clash between Shannon Sharpe's fall from ESPN and Katt Williams' unapologetic commentary became a case study in the ruthless mechanics of fame. For Sharpe, the loss of his platform was more than a professional setback. It was a public reckoning that tested the strength of his personal brand. For Katt, it was another opportunity to highlight the entertainment industry's revolving door, where loyalty is rare and reputations can vanish overnight. In the end, the situation left fans divided, insiders reflective, and the industry reminded that no level of success guarantees immunity from downfall. If you followed this far, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest deep dives into the biggest stories shaping sports and entertainment.